Hey there. Ever feel like you're drowning in to-do lists? You know those big dreams just stuck on someday?
Yeah, we've all been there.
Well, get ready to ditch those delay tactics because today we're diving deep into overcoming procrastination.
It's a classic for a reason.
It really is. And you know what I found interesting? This guy doesn't just call it laziness. It frames procrastination as a defense mechanism.
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes this guide so insightful. It's not about beating ourselves up. It's about understanding what our brain is trying to protect us from.
Right. Like, what's the fear behind the delay?
Exactly. And that's where getting to those personal procrastination triggers is key. This guide even suggests writing them down.
Oh, that's a good idea. Kind of like shining a spotlight on those subconscious roadblocks.
Precisely. And when you do that, you might be surprised by what you uncover.
You know, I actually tried that, and fear of failure was a big one. No shock there, right? But I also realized a lot of my procrastination comes from perfectionism.
Oh, perfectionism, the ultimate progress killer.
Totally. And this guy calls it out. It's like that old saying, perfection is the enemy.
Progress. Winston Churchill, everyone.
Nailed it. And, you know, sometimes even just thinking about those first steps can feel so overwhelming. Like, ever feel paralyzed by a task because it just seems massive?
Well, it's like standing at the bottom of a mountain, right?
Exactly. So how do we tackle that mountain?
Yeah.
This guide uses that climbing analogy, which I love because it's all about breaking things down.
Right. Focus on the next handhold, not the whole climb.
Love that.
The guide uses the example of writing a book. If you sit down to write thinking about the whole manuscript, you're done before you even start.
Oh, 100%. Overwhelmed just thinking about it.
But if you just focus on writing one paragraph today, suddenly it's doable.
Okay, so we've broken the mountain down into, like, manageable steps.
Yeah.
But how do we even get started on that first step? I feel like that's always my struggle.
It's the worst, right? And this guide really gets that. One of the things they talk about is the 5-minute rule. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those things you see everywhere.
For good reason. It's so simple, but so powerful. You know, you commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. Anyone can do 5 minutes.
Totally. Like, I can scroll on my phone for way longer than that doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly. But here's the thing. This guide says that once those 5 minutes are up, you're way more likely to keep going.
Oh, totally. It's like that...
Like that initial push to get a bike rolling.
Yeah. Yes. It's so hard to get going, but then...
Then once you're in motion, it's like whoosh.
Exactly. Okay, but let's be real. Even with the 5-minute rule, even when we're in motion, sometimes we need a little extra motivation to keep going.
Oh, for sure. We're only human. Right. And this guide gets that. They talk a lot about celebrating progress, not just the end result.
I love that. So it's like those little bursts of, "Ooh, I did that."
Exactly. Give your brain that little dopamine hit. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a big thing, like even checking something off your to-do list or finishing a chapter in a book.
I'm a big fan of a little snack break as a reward. It doesn't take much.
It all counts. And like Oprah always says, the more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate.
Words to live by.
Right. But, you know, sometimes even with all the best tools and tricks, we need an extra push, you know?
Oh, totally. We can't always rely on ourselves.
And that's where the power of accountability comes in.
Yeah, like having someone to answer to makes a big difference.
Huge. And this guide really dives into this idea, like how it's so much harder to break promises we make to ourselves compared to those we make to, like, someone else.
Oh, 100%. I'll cancel on myself in a heartbeat, but if I tell someone I'm going to do something, I'm way more likely to follow through.
That's why finding an accountability partner can be such a game changer. Someone you trust, who you can share your goals with, and who'll check in on your progress.
It's like that saying, accountability is key.
It is, and it could be anyone, a friend, family member, mentor, coworker, someone who can provide that external motivation and support.
Like a cheerleader, but for your goals. It's like having someone in your corner, you know?
Yeah.
Cheering you on, keeping you accountable.
Exactly. And it makes such a difference. But even with the best accountability buddy in the world, this guide really stresses that consistency is key.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's not a one and done kind of thing.
Right. It's not about, like, using these strategies perfectly for 2 days and then being like, okay, I'm good, I'm cured.
Yeah, procrastination is not a 48-hour bug you can just, like, get over.
Exactly. It's about weaving these tools into our lives consistently if we want to see real change.
It's a journey, not a sprint, right?
100%. And like with any journey, you know, there are going to be bumps along the way. You're going to hit some roadblocks.
Totally. So we have to be kind to ourselves when that happens.
Yes. This guide actually talks about that a lot, about self-compassion, you know, like We're all human. We all slip up. It's not about beating ourselves up when we do.
It's about acknowledging those missteps and, like, moving on, right?
Exactly. Progress, not perfection.
Always.
Okay.
Well, on that note, this deep dive has given us a ton of actionable insights to, like, finally tackle procrastination.
It really has. It's a great guide. Lots to think about.
Right. We talked about identifying our personal procrastination triggers, shifting from perfectionism to progress.
Those bite-sized action steps, the 5-minute rule. Don't forget the 5-minute rule.
So good. And then, of course, celebrating those wins and finding that accountability partner to keep us on track.
It's a whole toolkit. And, you know, you don't have to do everything at once. Maybe just pick 1 or 2 things that really resonate and start there.
Totally. Figure out what works for you. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. What's one step, however small, that you're going to take today to conquer procrastination?
What's one thing you've been putting off that you can commit to starting today, even just 5 minutes?
We believe in you. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those procrastination monsters at bay.